There is one thing we can be sure of: we are all going to die. For most of us, this realization is met with a sense of existential terror. We often think of death as the ultimate evil, a dark, looming shadow at the end of our journey. But in his provocative discussions on the nature of mortality, Yale Professor Shelly Kagan invites us to set aside our emotions and look at death through the cold, clear lens of logic. To understand death, we must first distinguish between the process of dying and the state of death itself. While the process of dying can be painful, whether it's being attacked by a Bengali tiger or suffering from a terminal illness, Kagan argues that this isn't what makes death bad in a philosophical sense. After all, one can die painlessly in their sleep. The real philosophical puzzle is this: if death is the end of existence, and you no longer exist to feel anything, how can death actually be bad for you? Before we can say death is a misfortune, we encounter what philosophers call the problem of the subject. Usually, for something to be bad for you, you have to be there to experience it. If I have a headache, I am the subject of that pain. But if death is truly the end, if there is no soul and no afterlife, then I am no longer there once I am dead. Kagan notes that it is not as if you will be sitting in your coffin, feeling bored or lonely. There are no bad experiences in non-existence. This leads to a startling question: is death actually neutral? To solve this, Kagan introduces the Deprivation Account. This theory suggests that death is bad not because of what it is, but because of what it takes away. Death is a loss of the goods of life. Imagine you are 54 years old. If you die tomorrow, you are deprived of your 55th year, a year where you could have seen your children grow, travelled, or enjoyed a meal. The badness of death is simply the fact that, had you stayed alive, the next chunk of your life would have been, on balance, good. However, the Deprivation Account raises a new problem. Why don't we regret everything we don't have? Kagan uses the example of $1 million check from Bill Gates. You are currently deprived of $1 million, yet you aren't mourning that loss. Why? Kagan argues that rational regret is based on likelihood. 1. Remote possibilities. Finding Aladdin's lamp or getting a check from a billionaire is so unlikely that we don't feel the loss. 2. The near miss. We regret death because, for a healthy person, living another year is a near miss. It was a highly likely outcome that was snatched away. This explains why we feel the death of a 20-year-old is a tragedy, while the death of a 100-year-old is not. The 100-year-old hasn't been deprived of much likely future, whereas the 20-year-old has lost decades of probable goods. Perhaps Kagan's most controversial claim is that fearing death is a mistake. According to Kagan, fear is only appropriate when there is uncertainty. He uses the midnight party analogy. Imagine you are at a party and you know your mother is calling you at midnight to come home. You are sad to leave deprivation, but you aren't afraid of the phone ringing because you know exactly when it's happening and what it means. Since death is inevitable and we know what it is, non-existence, Kagan argues that existential terror is a confusion of the mind. We can be sad about the loss of life, but the shiver of fear is logically misplaced. Finally, Kagan addresses the desire for eternal life. While we think we want to live forever, Kagan, following the philosopher Bernard Williams, suggests that immortality would eventually become excruciatingly boring. He compares life to eating pieces of chocolate. The first few pieces are wonderful, but eventually you reach a point where you've had enough. An immortal life would eventually exhaust every possible interest, hobby, and relationship, leading to a state of infinite tedium. In the end, Shelly Kagan's perspective is a bracing one. He strips away the comfort of the soul and the drama of the afterlife, leaving us with a mechanical view of mortality. By understanding death as a deprivation, we learn to value life as a scarce resource. While his family might think he's crazy for not fearing the void, Kagan's logic offers a different kind of peace. The peace of knowing that while the party must end, the chocolate was delicious while it lasted.